twizzle.
Weeknights, do the twizzle with me.
Everybody, starting doing the twizzle. Everybody, if you're ready to sizzle, you twist a little and you twist a lot. And when you really get hot, that's the twizzle. Twizzle, twizzle.
Weeknights starting at 9/8 Central on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with me live on the showroom floor on Comcast 187 here on a Monday morning. We have a special guest in the studio today. She is Sheriff Margaret Mims. She'll be talking about the opening of that jail floor on Saturday. She'll be talking about gun control, concealed weapons permits, and also California realignment and what that's doing to our system. We're back in just a moment. Hey, remember the phone number, 265-4331. And welcome back on a Monday morning here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Usually we have on the air, off the presses, of course, as you know, on a Monday. But today we've got a special guest, and she is Sheriff Margaret Mims. She's been kind enough to come in. Now, just a programming note. On Friday, we had Ron Saul here talking about gun control with Alan Chia. You know, the program is so short. It's only a half an hour. We only had so much time. We had so many phone calls, so much to get into with the debate. We didn't have enough time, so we've asked both of them to come back on Thursday. So mark that on your calendar. They'll both be back here live on Thursday morning. In the meantime, you may have read about the jail opening the floor, that one floor on Saturday. It's the final of 3 floors that has reopened now in the past few months. You know, you've heard about it so much now in the past few years about the jail releasing inmates early. It's called early release, 50 to 60 inmates a day. Well, on Saturday, they reopened one of those floors. Let's go to the videotape, and I'll show you exactly what I am talking about. This is the jail's North Annex building that I'm talking about, and that means 432 more beds are now available for the high demand of inmates coming into the jail. As part of the state's realignment program ordered by Governor Jerry Brown and the court system, prison inmates are now being transferred to local jails, as you may know. That puts a strain on the local systems around the state of California, including here in Fresno. Well, the opening of that floor came at a cost, $3 million. It all came out of county discretionary fund of $258 million. It'll cost about $6 million a year to keep it open and operating. In the past few months, the county opened up 2 other floors at the jail with realignment money from the state. The jail is now at capacity 3,289 inmates. You might recall, too, a few years ago, Sheriff Margaret Mims began closing jail floors back in 2009, as a matter of fact, after the Board of Supervisors cut her budget. Well, live in our studio right now is Margaret Mims. She is the sheriff of Fresno County. She'll be here to talk about that jail floor. She'll be here to talk about gun control, the state's realignment program with the inmates. Our telephone number, if you want to ask Sheriff Mims a question, is 265-4331. We're back with our program live with Sheriff Margaret Mims in a moment. Stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
This has been a hot topic for many years, as a matter of fact. The early release of inmates, the jail floors closing. Now they've all reopened again as of Saturday, that third floor. And time to welcome in Sheriff Margaret Mims. Good to see you again, Margaret. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So what does this mean to Fresno County and the jail system for this last floor to open up on Saturday?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's very good news. Because of realignment and the kind of inmate that we're getting now, they're coming to local jails rather than going on to state prison. We need to make sure that we maximize our current jail capacity, and we've done that this past weekend.
Will that help with the early releases? And are there, I guess it's a two-part question, are there still 50 to 60 inmates being released each day from the jail?
At the peak of our releases, there were about 70 a day. That reduced when we started opening floors to about 30 a day. And now, of course, we're down to a handful because of opening up that last floor.
So it is helping.
Absolutely, it's helping. And people know more than they ever wanted to about jail systems now because of everything that we're going through. It was tough economic times. We were able to open up 2 of those 3 jail floors by using realignment funds. So they weren't county funds, but realignment funds for 2 of those 3 floors. Yeah. And then the board, and I have to give credit to Supervisor Debbie Pachigian, she made it a goal and a real focus on opening up that last jail floor, and she really helped drive that issue forward in getting the rest of the supervisors to agree to find the money to open up that last jail floor, and it happened Saturday.
The question I have is, when you're talking about early release, how does law enforcement determine who gets released?
Yeah. We have a matrix. We start with misdemeanor, unsentenced property crimes, and then it goes up from there. So
what does that mean in layman's terms? Like burglary or what?
Or
property crimes?
Property crimes. Then the whole focus is to make sure we keep the most violent, most severe in jail. We need to make sure that we've got the jail space. Let me give you an anecdotal story.
Okay.
One day last year, we had a vehicle thief, and the judge gave him a $2 million bail. We then had a young girl who was abducted at gunpoint from a man, a 12-year-old little girl. His bail was $250,000. Now, if you were the sheriff and you had to make a decision which one of those people you were going to keep in jail, which decision would you make? I mean, that's a no-brainer. So that it really needs, it's a hard decision to make. We have to make it, but I'm going to keep those people that are most danger to our children in jail.
Yeah. I want to put a graphic up on the screen. It talks about California realignment. You can take a look up there on the monitor, Margaret. California, of course, is releasing a lot of their inmates from prison. There it is on October 1st, 2011, 144,200 inmates. Today, there's a less than 120,000. And, of course, once we get down to the number that Jerry Brown wants, of course, the governor and the court system, it'll be down to 110,000, of course, in prison. The rest of those are going to be in local jails.
Right.
What kind of pressure does that put on Fresno County and the rest of the counties in California?
It's a tremendous amount of pressure. Realignment has affected counties in 3 major ways. First of all, parolees. If somebody violates their state parole, rather than go on to state prison, they do that revocation time in the local jail. The second way it affects counties is with sentences. People who normally would have been sentenced to go to state prison now stay in a local jail. So we have people that have been sentenced for up to 18 years in a local jail when previously a year was the most that anybody could be sentenced to. That sounds crazy,
18 years in a local jail.
18 years, yes. And then the third way is supervision. 49% of the parolee caseload now comes to county probation departments to supervise these people rather than parole agents.
I mean, the natural question that comes to mind, Sheriff Mims, is the local jail equipped to handle these inmates to stay for 18 or 20 years?
And the answer is no. We have to do some renovation because that is not what we were built for. Local jails were built for that maximum of 1 year in custody after being sentenced. Now, previously we had people in jail multiple years pending some kind of trial. Murder trials, for instance, will last many years. We will have that inmates. But sentence time is the biggest change for local jails.
The theory at the state is, hey, these guys can get rehabilitated much better at the local level.
I believe
what say
that.
you?
I believe they can
Really?
be. I believe we can do a better job than the state did. The state did a horrible job in rehabilitation. They had a 70% recidivism rate at 3 years. So the state did not do such a good job.
And how many
in
realignment inmates do you have now in the Fresno County Jail,
We have-
roughly speaking?
Yeah, we have just over 800.
My
Just over
goodness,
800
my
people in
goodness.
our jail are realigned inmates.
You know, and the other question that comes to mind, does it make it a more dangerous place for, say, correctional officers? Does it put more strain on them?
Yeah. What we have now, when an inmate stays in custody multiple years, there's a different mindset. This isn't somebody who knows they have to be good while they're in custody pending a trial. Now they've been sentenced. What we are finding out is we're having what we call prison politics now in a local jail. They determine who calls the shots, who has the most gang members. They're starting all that positioning now in our local jail, and that's something different than what we've had to deal with in the past.
That's something they usually do in prison.
That's exactly right.
They facilitate in prison to members of their family or friends on the outside to whatever covert operation they're working on, right?
Right. And
illegal operation,
and strength.
I might add.
There is positioning for power and strength within the jail system. It's a community. Anything that happens in the community happens in the jail.
What about the strain on correctional officers, though? I mean, I've been reading that they've been complaining because they're putting in too many hours, too many overtime hours. They're putting in like 84 hours during a regular week. Do we need to hire more correctional officers to take the pressure off?
Yeah, we have continuous hiring going on right now. And we're always having an overtime issue in a jail. It's not like a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 job.
And how dangerous is it?
Oh, it's dangerous. You're dealing with the worst of the worst in a local jail.
Right.
That's still going on. But when you take a job in law enforcement, you take a job in corrections, you know what you're walking into.
So how many positions are open right now for correctional officers in case somebody out there is watching and maybe they want to apply? Do you have a lot of positions open?
We have positions open for deputy sheriff, correctional officer, dispatcher, and office assistants. If anybody is interested in applying for the job for anywhere in the county, specifically for the sheriff's office, go to the Fresno County website. You can Google it and come up with the actual address and look under the personnel jobs that are open right now, and you can apply. But we have continuous hiring for those positions.
Right. One other thing before we go to break, is it possible to take some of these inmates that came out of prison in local jails and shift them out to some of the other county jails in the area?
If anybody had room, we would do that. But what's happening is not only in Fresno County, it's happening to all of our other surrounding counties. They're having the same impact on their jails as we are having on ours.
The options are limited, as usual, right?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
It wasn't easy to begin with, and it's not getting any easier.
All right. If you want to be a correctional officer, by the way, the job pays about $35,000 a year. You can make up to $60,000 a year with overtime, and some correctional officers, believe it or not, make $100,000 a year and much more. That's more than the sheriff makes, right? All right, we're back with more of Sheriff Margaret Mims. She's kind enough to take time out of her schedule. Your phone calls are encouraged. 265-4331. Back in a moment.
I'm Lou Grant. Mary asked me to do a promo for Me TV.
You want to see me, Lou?
Not now, Ted. Watch me on...
Danish donuts?
I said not now, Ted. Watch me on Me TV.
You don't like me? I'll fire you.
Watch Mary Tyler Moore. I'll fire you.
Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
Meow.
265-4331 is the number. We're talking to Sheriff Margaret Mims. Let me ask you quickly, jail expansion, is that on the table? You've
Yes,
got,
it is.
Discretionary money, realignment money, so
We also
when?
have the ability to apply for some state local building fund money.
Okay.
And it's specifically to build a local facility with programming in mind, which is what we need.
All right. Some inmates were interviewed at the Fresno County Jail up on top of the roof. That's where the yard is. You're familiar with that better than I am. And they were interviewed and asked about rehabilitation. And they were asked, could they be rehabilitated better in prison or at the local jail, the local systems? Here's what some of them had to say.
I would prefer to go to prison. There's no programs here. There's no school. There's no education. There's no jobs. I mean, we go to yard. This yard is once a week, every Monday for an hour. It's it.
What do some of you other guys feel like?
I'd rather go to prison myself.
Stating it the same.
Anybody that's done time rather go to prison. You know?
All you guys would rather be in prison than the jail here.
Yeah. They need to start worrying about like the rehabilitation for us. You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do to help us out? What are they gonna do to help him out in his drug problem? What are they gonna do to help him out in his anger problem? You know, there ain't no rehabilitation inside here for us. You know.
A lot of you guys have drug issues.
A lot of us does. Raise your hand, everybody who got drug problems.
I'm trying to get a program right now.
Right now.
Okay, your reaction to that? Most of them saying, "Hey, I'd rather go back to prison. There's better rehab there than there is here."
Well, my first impression with that is don't commit crime so you don't go to either one. If they wouldn't commit crime, they wouldn't have to worry about it. And frankly, in the Fresno County Jail for many, many years, you could get your GED. You could get your high school diploma in the Fresno County Jail. There we have.
So you're saying rehab is better here than it would be, say, at Folsom or San Quentin or any of those places?
Here's the difference. It's voluntary in the Fresno County Jail. You have to actually have the self-gumption to get up and go to these classes. We have sentenced inmates going court-ordered classes, but for instance, we've had to diminish our GED classes because the inmates don't have the self-initiative to go to class. So they can complain about all they want about what they don't have. It's there. They just have to take advantage.
Self-motivated.
They have to be self-motivated. We don't exactly have that kind of clientele.
Is that
are
a
motivated.
lot to ask, though, from an inmate to be self-motivated, to do something positive?
Absolutely, it's not too much to ask. They've got nothing but time.
On their hands. And you and I are paying for it, too, by the way.
Right.
All right, that's a good point. Well, you know, last week we talked about gun control right here on the program with Ron Saul and Alan Chia, and I had a chance to go out to the range and actually shoot one of those weapons that the controversy, of course, is the one with the big clips, of course, we all know, and they're called assault rifles, assault weapons. Let's turn around and take a look at what I did at the range last week. If you take a walk through the firing line here at the range in northwest Fresno, on any given day, at any given hour, you'll see people lined up taking target practice. Nate Roldan of Exeter is here teaching his 16-year-old daughter how to shoot. And his 19-year-old son. Roldan says he wants both of them to be ready for the bad guys, just in case.
And my father taught me how to use a firearm when I was young, and I want to pass that knowledge on to my kids. And I think the most important part is that they know how to handle themselves around a firearm for safety and protection.
Are you in favor of gun control?
I don't believe gun control is the answer to everything. I believe in my Second Amendment right.
For nearly a month now, people have been coming into the range by the droves to purchase their favorite weapons, most for the same reasons, for protection, and they're afraid the president and Congress may agree to ban certain types of weapons. The surge all began almost immediately after the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut on December the 14th. Those who operate the range say 30 to 45 pistols, rifles, and automatic weapons are sold each day. That comes out to more than 1,300 weapons a month. And they have the paperwork in these 4 binders to prove it. Names, addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, and background checks. The assault weapons ban was passed back in the early 90s, but federal law expired under the Bush administration, meaning that once again automatic rifles with magazines that carry 30 bullets or more were legal, except here in California, where the ban remains. No more than 10 bullets per magazine are allowed. Brian Wallert, manager of the range, demonstrates how powerful an automatic rifle is. With a little coaching, even I managed to handle it. Well, as you can see there, I was trying to fire that weapon. Very heavy weapon, that assault weapon, very hard to handle. So the question that I have is, right now, I actually got 2 questions. It's the fact that we're dealing with these magazines. Some hold 10 bullets. The law in California is 10 bullets and no more. around the rest of the country, it's 30 bullets because the national ban expired in 2004. The question I have is, are we more safe with a magazine that holds only 10 bullets as opposed to 30?
The issue of being safe has nothing to do with the size of the magazine. You have evil people who are intent on doing evil deeds, and that's where the focus should be, on the person, not the weapon, not the bullets, not the magazine.
It only takes one bullet to kill.
Right.
So why is there this argument between 10 bullets, 30 bullets, 50 bullets?
I don't understand it.
Does it make a difference?
I don't understand it. It doesn't make a difference. If somebody is intended on hurting somebody with a gun or a knife or a hammer or a baseball bat, they're going to do that.
So you're not in favor of the ban, right?
No, I'm not.
30 bullets, right?
No, I'm not.
What's your stance on gun control?
My position is we have plenty of gun laws right now, and we can focus on enforcing those. California has the most stringent gun control laws in the nation as it is. Connecticut had very strict gun laws, and look what happened. So I think people are trying to look as if they're trying to do something, but in the long run, it's not really going to help.
All right, let's take a quick call here on Connect with Me. Good morning. You're on. No, you were. I guess that they got tired of waiting. Another question before we go to break is, assault weapons, are handguns or rifles more dangerous in your opinion?
They both will shoot a bullet, and the bullet doesn't care. It's non-discriminatory.
Well, we had this debate on Friday. One was saying, you know, a handgun, an assault weapon, is more dangerous than an assault rifle. So are we splitting hairs here?
I think we're splitting hairs. If you talk to a victim, a gunshot victim, and they said, and somebody says, were you shot with a rifle or a handgun? They don't give a rip. They were shot. That bullet comes out of a gun fired by somebody intending to do harm.
So what's the answer? Not more gun control in your opinion, but what?
Let's enforce the laws that we have. For instance, the Connecticut issue, what makes me ask questions is, how did that person have access to those weapons? They were legally owned. They were legally purchased. How did that person have access to those weapons?
All right, let's take a quick call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me with Margaret Mims. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Good. What's your question?
Well, my name's Ron.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, you know, she is right on when it comes to everything, except for one thing. We need to address mental illness.
Right. We're going to address that after the break, though. I appreciate you calling and asking that question. It is a very important topic, and how you keep assault weapons, or any kind of weapon, a knife even, out of the hands of somebody who's mentally and emotionally unstable. We're going to continue with our conversation with Margaret Mims, the Sheriff of Fresno County, in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And of course, the caller bringing up a very good issue, and that is mental illness. So how do you keep those guns, any gun, any weapon, out of the hands that someone who is mentally and emotionally not fit to have one?
Yeah. There's a section, for instance, in our gun permit application that asks a specific question about mental illness. So if you have been involved in especially a violent issue with law enforcement and you've been deemed mentally ill, you're not going to get a gun permit. Neither will you be sold a weapon.
But how do you keep it out of the hands of criminals? Because they're going to get it illegally.
Well, we're talking about criminals or mental illness here.
Both.
So for both. For instance, before the break, I said, I wonder how that person got access to that weapon.
Right.
If his mother felt that he was on the edge or needed to be placed in a facility, I'm wondering about her decision on how she kept her weapons, her legal weapons, because he got access to them somehow. Exactly. So the responsibility comes on the gun owners, how they store, who they give access to, and of course you talk about criminals. Criminals can get any kind of weapon they want any day of the week.
Yeah, if I'm hearing you correctly, more guns are going to keep us safe, do you think?
I believe so. More guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens
will keep us safe.
Will keep us
Not
safer.
fewer guns, more guns.
You bet.
And our job as quote and unquote normal people is to keep them out of the hands of the wrong people. That's the big problem. I don't know how to do that.
That's the secret.
Yeah,
And
how do you do that? We haven't been able to solve that problem.
yeah, we're still focusing on especially gang members, because when it comes to gun shootings, usually it's one gang against the other. And tragically, once in a while, there's an innocent bystander who is hit. So we'll keep our focus on gang members, those who have weapons illegally. There was also an article, I think, in Saturday's Bee that said California is safer than ever, and there's more guns out there than ever,
Right.
which is proof.
Right. Take another quick call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me with Sheriff Margaret Mims. How are you?
Yes.
Good. Quickly, what's your question?
I would like to know, how do they get qualification to have a shotgun?
Okay. What's your question again? Did you understand that?
Yeah, how do they get shotguns?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody that wants to purchase a shotgun can go to a firearms dealer, any gun shop. You purchase the weapon, and there's a 10-day waiting period. And at the end of that 10-day waiting period, once they've done that, we call it a DOJ, Department of Justice check to make sure you have no criminal history and you're not ineligible, you will be able to come and pick that shotgun up in 10 days.
All right. Before I run out of time, I want to ask you about concealed weapon permits.
Sure.
Are they up?
Absolutely. They are way up, and I sign a boatload of those every week.
How many do we have on the books now? Do you know?
There are over 5,000 just issued by me, by Fresno County Sheriff's Office in Fresno County. I did look last week at some stats. We have 14% of the total gun permits in the state of California. They're in Fresno County.
Why are you so liberal in giving those permits out?
Because I believe an armed society is a safer society. The bad guys have the guns. Why do we make it difficult for law-abiding citizens to get weapons to protect themselves?
And women are applying for them.
Women more than ever.
Women
more
That's
than
a good
ever.
thing, though, right?
I think so. And what I find out with women is they might be a little apprehensive at first, men also, but once they do go, like you did, out to the range and start shooting, they realize they like it a lot, and they're good at it.
Right. Crimes against women are up. Are they not?
I haven't heard that statistic.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay. I don't know about Fresno County, but I've been reading some stats just around the country and other parts of our state. I don't know what's going on in Fresno County, but certainly if a woman wants a concealed weapons permit and she's a law-abiding citizen, you're going to oblige her.
You bet I am.
Yeah.
You bet
All
I
right.
am.
Another call, Sheriff Mims. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, good. Quickly, what's your question? We're almost out of time.
That's okay. I want to know if in the release of the inmates, is that also the striker prisoners? Would that be associated with that?
The strikes, the 3 strikes?
Yes.
If somebody is in custody on their 3rd strike, they are ineligible for release. That's part of our policy.
So they could be.
Okay.
Not a 3rd striker.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Imagine you're not happy about what happened in the election with 3 strikes.
No. In fact, that's the only initiative that I actually wrote a check for to support financially.
Right.
But it passed. So
how does that hurt us?
It hurts us because we have more people now that are going to stay in the local jail rather than move on to prison. We have 56 people in state prison who are there on their 3rd strike. 13 have already petitioned to have that 3rd strike overruled.
Getting back to the concealed weapons permits, tell our viewers, how would you apply if you wanted one?
You can go to the Sheriff's Office website. It's www.fresnosheriff.org, and there is frequently asked questions right there on the website, and it tells you how to apply.
You know what? I want to take another quick call. It's going to be really quick. Let's do it, Marcus. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Quickly, we got like 10 seconds. What's your question? Quickly.
My question is, you just answered it right now, and how do you apply, and how long will the waiting period take?
All right. Okay, thank you. We got to go, but appreciate your phone call. You know, we're out of time. Sadly, it goes by really quick.
Yes.
I wish you would come back.
I'll be back, John. I really enjoy being able to answer questions directly to the public rather than them trying to figure out themselves or hear secondhand. This is very enjoyable for me.
I know you have a busy schedule. I know we have to go. We've got like 10 seconds left. I'd like to book you maybe for the next month or two to come on again.
just call my office. I'm
Okay.
willing.
All right. Sheriff
Thank you.
Margaret Mims, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Good luck to you. Thank you for being with us here on Connect with Me. We're back tomorrow. Hey, it's business day tomorrow. We're going to be talking about olive oil. Yes, Bari oil out of Reedley. How do they make it? How do they make it taste so good? They're going to be here to answer your questions. Have a great night. Don't forget to watch the replay at 7:30 tonight. We're back tomorrow. Have a good one.